You should never trust or respect these 9 people. Stoicism. To find a friend is to find a treasure, but to misplace your trust is to invite ruin. In a world teeming with complexities and hidden motives, trust is a currency that we cannot afford to spend carelessly. The Stoics, wise in their observations of human nature, taught us that the people we allow into our lives can either uplift us or lead us astray. But how do we discern who is worthy of our trust and respect? Today on A Stoic in Your Life, we'll uncover the 9 types of people you should never trust or respect. These are the individuals who, despite their outward appearances, can undermine your peace and principles. Through the lens of Stoicism, we'll explore how to identify these hidden dangers and protect yourself from their influence. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the wisdom to navigate relationships with clarity and confidence. If you find value in this journey we're on together, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to share these timeless teachings. Now let's dive in and start unveiling the truth. Trust, like a fine thread, can weave the fabric of strong relationships or unravel into a tangled mess when misplaced. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. In today's world, where deception often lurks behind friendly smiles and firm handshakes, understanding who to trust and who to steer clear of is not just an art, but a necessity. In this journey through Stoic wisdom, we'll unravel the complexities of human interaction, equipping you with the tools to safeguard your peace and integrity. Human relationships are often a maze of trust and deception, where appearances can be deceiving, and true intentions are not always what they seem. It's essential to understand that trust is both a gift and a responsibility, one that must be given with caution and wisdom. The Stoics, who were masters at dissecting human nature, remind us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can and must control our reactions to those actions. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes our guiding light. In the words of Epictetus, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By honing our understanding and sharpening our perception, we can navigate the complex dynamics of trust and deception in a way that fortifies our inner peace and maintains our integrity. Understanding trust and deception in human interactions is like walking through a field of hidden traps. One wrong step, and you may find yourself entangled in a web of lies, manipulations, or even betrayal. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism comes into play, offering us a lens through which we can view and interpret the actions of others with greater clarity. Trust is not something to be given lightly. It is earned through consistent behavior that aligns with one's words. Yet deception can be subtle, often masked by charm or flattery. As we navigate through these social dynamics, we must remember Seneca's advice. He who trusts everyone is a fool. He who trusts no one is a fool as well. The key lies in finding the balance, trusting those who have proven themselves, while remaining vigilant and discerning of those who have not. In today's world, where social interactions are not just face-to-face but also digital, the challenges of discerning trustworthiness are magnified. Online personas can be meticulously crafted, presenting a facade that hides true intentions. Here, Stoicism teaches us to be aware of the dangers of superficial judgments. The Stoics encourage us to look beyond the surface, to seek consistency in actions over time, and to question the motives behind seemingly kind gestures. This approach is not about becoming paranoid, but rather about protecting oneself from unnecessary harm and disappointment. It is about being proactive in maintaining our own peace of mind, a principle that aligns with the Stoic idea of focusing on what we can control: our thoughts, our judgments, and our actions. Moreover, in the realm of professional life, understanding whom to trust is crucial. Many of us have experienced situations where colleagues or business partners have not acted in good faith, leading to broken deals, lost opportunities, or damaged reputations. The Stoic approach would advise us to remain calm and detached in these situations, to observe rather than react impulsively, and to learn from these experiences rather than allowing them to embitter us. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." By applying this wisdom, we can move forward with a clear mind and a steady heart, avoiding the pitfalls of distrust and deception in the future. Trust and deception also play a significant role in personal relationships, where emotions often cloud our judgment. It is in these close interactions that we must be especially vigilant. A partner, friend, or family member may unintentionally deceive us, not out of malice, but due to their own weaknesses or fears. In such cases, the Stoic principle of empathy comes into play. We must strive to understand the other person's perspective, while also maintaining our boundaries and self-respect. This balance allows us to protect ourselves without becoming cynical or distrustful. As Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. By knowing who we are and what we stand for, we can better navigate the complex dynamics of trust in our closest relationships. Finally, it is important to recognize that trust and deception are not just external forces, but also internal ones. We must be honest with ourselves about our own intentions and actions. Self-deception can be just as harmful as being deceived by others. The Stoics teach us to practice self-reflection, to examine our motives, and to ensure that we are living in accordance with our values. This inner clarity helps us to interact with others from a place of strength and authenticity. In the words of Seneca, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." You are arranging what is in fortune's control and abandoning what lies in yours. By focusing on our own integrity and authenticity, we can build trust not only with others but also within ourselves. In conclusion, navigating trust and deception requires a keen understanding of human nature, a balanced approach to relationships, and a commitment to personal integrity. The wisdom of Stoicism offers us valuable insights into how to manage these dynamics, helping us to protect our peace of mind and maintain our ethical standards. As you move forward, remember to apply these principles in all areas of your life, whether in your personal relationships, professional endeavors, or online interactions. By doing so, you will not only safeguard your own well-being, but also cultivate meaningful connections with those who are truly deserving of your trust. And as you continue on this journey, keep in mind the words of Marcus Aurelius: "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the essence of living a life of integrity and wisdom, guided by the timeless teachings of Stoicism. Now let's discover the 9 lessons for today's journey. 1. Dealing with manipulative friends. When we think about friendship, we often envision mutual trust, support, and shared experiences that enrich our lives. But what happens when a friend isn't what they seem? When their concern masks ulterior motives, and their kindness is merely a tool for manipulation? It's easy to overlook the subtle signs that a friend may be more interested in what they can gain from you rather than in your well-being. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism comes into play, offering us the clarity and strength to protect ourselves from such deceptive relationships. As Epictetus wisely said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is particularly relevant when dealing with manipulative friends, those who seem to care for you but are really exploiting your vulnerabilities for their own benefit. Manipulative friends can be masters of disguise. They often present themselves as deeply concerned for your welfare, offering advice or assistance when you're down. But beneath this caring facade, they may be calculating how to turn your situation to their advantage. Perhaps they use your secrets as leverage, or subtly push you towards decisions that serve their interests more than yours. Have you ever found yourself questioning a friend's intentions, wondering if their help comes with strings attached? This doubt is your intuition signaling that something might be amiss. In such moments, it's crucial to remember that true friends support you out of genuine concern, not because they expect something in return. One powerful story that illustrates this dynamic comes from the world of business. Imagine a scenario where two colleagues are also close friends. One of them, let's call him John, frequently seeks advice from the other, Mike, who seems always eager to help. Over time, John realizes that Mike's suggestions often lead to outcomes that benefit Mike more than himself. Whether it's steering him towards projects that increase Mike's influence or using their conversations to gather information that Mike later uses to his advantage, John starts to see a pattern. John feels betrayed and manipulated, realizing that Mike's friendship was more about self-gain than mutual support. This realization is painful, but it's also empowering because it allows John to set boundaries and reassess the relationship with clarity. The advice here is simple, yet profound. Set boundaries. Boundaries are essential in any relationship, but especially when dealing with someone who may not have your best interests at heart. By setting clear limits on what you share and how much influence you allow them to have over your decisions, you protect yourself from being used. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about maintaining your integrity and ensuring that your interactions are healthy and balanced. Ask yourself, are you sharing too much too soon? Are you allowing someone to have too much sway over your life decisions? By reflecting on these questions, you can better protect your emotional and mental well-being. Another critical step is to share selectively. Not everyone needs to know the details of your personal struggles or your deepest thoughts. In fact, the fewer people who have access to your vulnerabilities, the better. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself. Instead, it means being wise about who you confide in. True friends earn your trust over time, and they respect the information you share with them. They don't use it as a weapon against you. Think of it this way. Would you hand over the keys to your house to just anyone? Of course not. Similarly, the keys to your inner world should be entrusted only to those who have proven themselves worthy. Finally, it's essential to invest in relationships that bring positivity and growth. Relationships should be a source of mutual enrichment, not a drain on your energy or resources. Positive relationships are those where both parties feel valued, supported, and encouraged to grow. They are built on trust, respect, and a shared commitment to each other's well-being. When you find yourself in a relationship that consistently brings you down or makes you feel used, it's time to reevaluate its place in your life. Remember, as the Stoic philosopher Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This doesn't mean abandoning someone at the first sign of trouble, but it does mean prioritizing your mental and emotional health. In modern life, where relationships are often fast-paced and transactional, it's more important than ever to be mindful of who we allow into our inner circles. The constant connectivity of social media and the pressures of professional life can blur the lines between genuine friendships and opportunistic alliances. Therefore, maintaining a Stoic perspective, focused on what you can control, like your choices and reactions, helps you navigate these complexities with wisdom and grace. Ask yourself, are there relationships in your life that are more draining than fulfilling? Do you feel supported, or are you constantly questioning the motives of those around you? By setting boundaries, sharing selectively, and investing in relationships that nurture your growth, you can create a network of true friends who enrich your life rather than complicate it. Remember, the quality of your relationships directly impacts your peace of mind, and it's within your power to cultivate connections that reflect the best version of yourself. As you move forward, keep Seneca's words close. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. In friendship, as in life, seek depth over breadth, and always value those who truly have your best interests at heart. 2. Handling constant critics. In life, we all encounter people who seem to have a never-ending supply of criticism, constantly pointing out what they perceive as flaws in our actions, decisions, or even our very character. These constant critics can wear down our confidence, stifle our creativity, and make us question our self-worth. But what if we approach these critics with the wisdom of Stoicism? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This profound insight reminds us that while we cannot control the criticism that comes our way, we can absolutely control how we respond to it. Imagine facing criticism not with hurt or anger, but with calm discernment, picking out what is useful and discarding the rest like a skilled goldsmith sifting through dirt for precious metal. When someone constantly criticizes you, it's easy to start believing that their words define you. But here's the truth: they don't. Their words are a reflection of their perspective, not your reality. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher, wisely noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means that while critics may try to impose their views on you, it's ultimately up to you to decide how much weight their words carry. Ask yourself, when someone criticizes you, are they truly offering constructive feedback that can help you grow? Or are they simply projecting their own insecurities and frustrations onto you? By asking this question, you can begin to separate the noise from the valuable insights. Let's consider a modern example. Imagine you're at work, and there's a colleague who always finds something wrong with what you do. No matter how much effort you put in, they always have a negative comment. Over time, this can make you doubt your abilities even when you know you're doing a good job. But what if, instead of internalizing their criticism, you took a step back and viewed it through a Stoic lens? You might realize that their constant negativity says more about them than it does about you. Perhaps they're unhappy in their own role, or they feel threatened by your competence. Recognizing this allows you to maintain your self-assurance and continue performing at your best without being dragged down by their negativity. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and responses, rather than getting caught up in the uncontrollable opinions of others. This doesn't mean we should ignore all criticism, but rather that we should approach it with discernment. As Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In the context of criticism, this could mean that those who constantly criticize others may be lacking something within themselves, perhaps confidence or contentment. By understanding this, we can learn to see their criticism for what it is, a reflection of their inner state, not an accurate assessment of our worth or abilities. Now think about how you typically react to criticism. Do you feel defensive, anxious, or discouraged? These are natural reactions, but they don't have to be your default. What if instead you viewed criticism as an opportunity for self-improvement? Not all criticism is bad. Some of it can be incredibly valuable. The key is to discern which criticism is constructive and which is merely destructive noise. When faced with criticism, ask yourself, is this feedback coming from someone whose opinion I respect? Is it aimed at helping me improve? Or is it just an expression of their own negativity? By asking these questions, you empower yourself to take control of how criticism affects you. Let's also consider the role of creativity. Constant criticism can stifle your creativity, making you second-guess your ideas and hesitate to take risks. But creativity thrives on the freedom to experiment, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. The Stoic approach encourages you to maintain your creative spirit in the face of criticism. Remember, the most innovative and successful people are often those who have faced the most criticism. They didn't let it stop them. Instead, they used it as fuel to push forward. As Marcus Aurelius advised, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, use criticism as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Furthermore, it's important to consider how you can deal with criticism without letting it erode your self-confidence. One effective strategy is to develop a strong sense of self-awareness. When you know your strengths and weaknesses, you're less likely to be shaken by someone else's opinion. You can objectively evaluate the criticism and decide whether it's something you need to act on or something you can let go of. This self-awareness is key to maintaining your confidence in the face of negativity. It allows you to stay grounded in your own reality rather than being swayed by the shifting opinions of others. But how do you cultivate this self-awareness? Start by reflecting on your past experiences with criticism. How have you reacted in the past, and what could you do differently in the future? Consider keeping a journal where you can process your thoughts and feelings about the criticism you receive. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns in both the criticism and your responses to it. This will help you develop a more balanced perspective, where you can appreciate constructive feedback without being overwhelmed by negative comments. Handling constant criticism requires a Stoic mindset, one that is focused on what you can control, discerning in its acceptance of feedback, and resilient in the face of negativity. By applying Stoic principles, you can protect your confidence and creativity from the corrosive effects of relentless criticism. Remember, you are the gatekeeper of your mind. 3. Navigating superficial friendships. In a world where appearances often deceive, it's easy to find ourselves surrounded by people who seem friendly on the surface, but lack the depth to truly connect with us. As Seneca once said, one of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. Yet, how often do we mistake superficiality for genuine connection? Now, we'll delve into the subtle art of discerning superficial friendships from those that truly enrich our lives, drawing on the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to guide us. Navigating the realm of friendships can be a complex and often confusing journey, especially in today's fast-paced world, where social interactions are frequently reduced to fleeting moments and digital exchanges. Many of us have encountered people who seem warm, welcoming, and eager to befriend us, yet beneath this surface-level charm, there is a noticeable lack of genuine connection. These are the superficial friendships that, while appearing harmless, can drain your emotional energy and leave you feeling empty. They're like a beautifully wrapped gift that, once opened, reveals nothing of value inside. Recognizing these types of relationships early on is crucial because they can prevent you from investing your time and energy into connections that truly matter. Stoic philosophy, with its emphasis on discerning what is truly valuable in life, offers us the tools to navigate these superficial friendships with wisdom and clarity. A key principle in Stoicism is the importance of focusing on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and judgments. When it comes to friendships, this means being mindful of where we direct our emotional energy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This wisdom can be applied to our social lives as well. Instead of wasting time on relationships that offer little in return, we should strive to cultivate friendships that are rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and a shared sense of purpose. Superficial friends often engage in shallow conversations, rarely delving into topics that matter or offering support when it's truly needed. They may be present during the good times but are conspicuously absent when challenges arise. This behavior reflects a lack of depth, and while it may not always be immediately apparent, it's something that can be sensed over time. In modern life, where networking and social connections are often viewed as transactional, it's easy to fall into the trap of mistaking acquaintance for friendship. A story comes to mind of a successful businessman who attended countless networking events, shaking hands with dozens of people who seemed eager to connect. However, when he faced a significant personal crisis, he realized that most of these connections were superficial. Few offered real support or even reached out to see how he was doing. This experience taught him the importance of distinguishing between those who were simply friendly and those who were true friends. This is a lesson that resonates deeply with the Stoic belief in valuing substance over appearance. But how can we distinguish between superficial friendships and those that are genuine? One way is to observe the consistency of a person's actions over time. True friends are reliable, showing up not just when it's convenient but also when it's challenging. They're interested in your well-being, not just your success or what you can offer them. Epictetus offers a valuable perspective here. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In the context of friendships, this can be interpreted as valuing quality over quantity. It's better to have a few deep, meaningful relationships than many shallow ones. Another aspect to consider is how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you feel energized, supported, and understood? Or do you feel drained, unheard, and unimportant? The latter feelings are often a sign that the friendship is more superficial than it is genuine. In Stoic terms, this relates to the concept of eudaimonia, or living in accordance with your true nature. True friendships align with this idea. They contribute to your sense of fulfillment and well-being, rather than detracting from it. It's also important to reflect on your own role in these relationships. Are you engaging with others on a superficial level, or are you making an effort to form deeper connections? Stoicism teaches us that we are responsible for our own actions and attitudes. By being intentional about the way we interact with others, we can foster relationships that are built on trust and mutual respect. This requires vulnerability and a willingness to open up, but it's worth the effort because it leads to more rewarding and meaningful connections. In today's interconnected world, where we are constantly bombarded with new social interactions and opportunities to meet people, it can be tempting to spread ourselves thin, trying to maintain too many relationships at once. However, this often leads to a dilution of our emotional energy, leaving us with a wide but shallow network of connections. Instead, Stoicism advises us to focus on what truly matters. As Seneca pointed out, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This doesn't mean cutting ties with everyone who isn't a close friend, but rather being selective about where you invest your time and emotional resources. The lesson here is to be discerning in your friendships, to seek out and nurture those relationships that bring true value to your life, and to recognize when a connection is not worth pursuing. This is not about being judgmental, but about being wise, understanding that your time and energy are precious and should be spent on people who enrich your life, just as you enrich theirs. In the end, the quality of your friendships will have a profound impact on your happiness and fulfillment. By applying the principles of Stoicism to your social interactions, you can build a network of relationships that not only support you, but also help you grow as a person. So, take a moment to reflect. Are the friendships in your life adding value, or are they merely taking up space? By answering this question, you can begin to navigate your social world with greater wisdom and purpose, ensuring that your relationships are as deep and meaningful as you deserve them to be. Thank you for joining us in today's video. Before we continue, I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude for your presence here. It's truly a pleasure to have you as part of our community. Your engagement means the world to us, so please don't hesitate to share your thoughts or personal experiences in the comments. If you're new here, just leave a comment saying, "I am a newbie," and if you've been with us for a while, let us know by saying, "I am Stoic." Your interaction not only shows your support but also drives us to keep creating content that resonates with you. All right, let's continue this journey together, shall we? Thank you once again for being part of today's video and for contributing to our growing community. 4. Addressing inattentive listeners. In every social interaction, communication is the bridge that connects two minds. But what happens when one person is physically present, but mentally checked out? We've all been there, trying to have a meaningful conversation with someone who seems more interested in their phone or their own thoughts than in what we're saying. This kind of inattentiveness can be frustrating and disheartening, especially when we're sharing something important. Yet it's in these moments that Stoicism offers us a powerful approach to navigating such situations with grace and wisdom. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This quote underscores the importance of attentive listening, not just for the person on the receiving end, but also for maintaining the integrity of the relationship. When someone is not truly listening, it's easy to feel disrespected or unimportant. You might start to wonder why they're even there if they're not engaging with you. But rather than reacting with frustration, a Stoic approach encourages us to take a step back and assess the situation calmly. First, consider whether the inattentiveness is a pattern or a one-time occurrence. In today's fast-paced world where distractions are everywhere, It's not uncommon for people to occasionally lose focus. However, if this behavior is consistent, it may be a sign that the person is not valuing the conversation, or by extension, the relationship, as much as they should. Here's where clear communication becomes crucial. You can't expect someone to correct a behavior they may not even be aware of, so it's important to address the issue directly, but kindly. You might say something like, "I've noticed that it seems hard to keep your attention during our talks. Is something on your mind, or would there be a better time for us to chat?" This approach opens the door to a more honest conversation and gives the other person a chance to explain themselves. Perhaps they're dealing with stress, or maybe they didn't realize how their behavior was coming across. By addressing the issue directly, you not only clarify your own feelings, but also give them an opportunity to improve. Yet if their inattentiveness persists despite your efforts, it's time to reassess the value of the relationship. Are you investing more energy into this connection than you're getting back? As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you're constantly feeling unheard or undervalued in a relationship, it's worth considering whether this is a healthy dynamic for you. Now, let's relate this to a more modern context. Think about the last time you were at a social gathering, perhaps a work event or a family dinner. You might have found yourself in a conversation with someone who kept glancing at their phone or nodding absent-mindedly while you spoke. How did that make you feel? Probably not great. This experience is more common than we'd like to admit, and it reflects a larger issue in our society: the decline of deep, meaningful communication. We're often so caught up in multitasking or our own thoughts that we forget to truly engage with the people around us. But Stoicism teaches us that presence, real, attentive presence, is key to building strong, lasting relationships. So what can you do when faced with an inattentive listener? One strategy is to ask direct, engaging questions that require more than a yes or no answer. This not only pulls them back into the conversation, but also signals that you value their input and expect the same in return. Questions like, "What do you think about this?" or "How does that idea resonate with you?" can re-engage their focus and make the conversation more interactive. However, if you find that despite your best efforts the person remains disengaged, it might be time to reflect on the nature of your relationship. Are they truly interested in connecting with you, or are they merely going through the motions? This brings us to a critical Stoic principle: knowing when to let go. It's not always easy, but sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to distance yourself from relationships that do not contribute positively to your life. As Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. If someone consistently shows that they're not interested in truly listening or engaging with you, it may be a sign that it's time to focus your energy on relationships that do. After all, life is too short to spend time on connections that leave you feeling drained or undervalued. Dealing with inattentive listeners is a challenge that requires patience, clear communication, and sometimes tough decisions. By addressing the issue head-on and assessing the value of the relationship, you can ensure that your time and energy are invested in connections that truly matter. Remember, effective communication is a two-way street, and both parties need to be present for it to work. So, ask yourself, are you surrounded by people who truly listen, or are you settling for superficial interactions? By applying the wisdom of Stoicism, you can cultivate relationships that are not only attentive but also deeply fulfilling, and in doing so, you'll find that your conversations and your life become much richer and more meaningful. Dealing with inattentive listeners is a challenge that requires patience, clear communication, and sometimes tough decisions. By addressing the issue head-on and assessing the value of the relationship, you can ensure that your time and energy are invested in connections that truly matter. Remember, effective communication is a two-way street, and both parties need to be present for it to work. So, ask yourself, are you surrounded by people who truly listen, or are you settling for superficial interactions? By applying the wisdom of Stoicism, you can cultivate relationships that are not only attentive, but also deeply fulfilling. And in doing so, you'll find that your conversations and your life become much richer and more meaningful. 5. Engaging with empathy-lacking individuals. In life, we often find ourselves interacting with people who seem completely absorbed in their own world, oblivious to the feelings and needs of those around them. These are the individuals who lack empathy, those who, in their self-centeredness, fail to acknowledge the impact of their actions or words on others. Engaging with such people can be particularly challenging, especially when their behavior leaves you feeling overlooked, undervalued, or even hurt. But how do you navigate relationships with people who lack this essential human quality? Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers a balanced approach to dealing with empathy-lacking individuals, one that emphasizes patience, understanding, and crucially, self-preservation. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This quote speaks directly to the heart of the matter when dealing with those who lack empathy. It reminds us that while we cannot control the behavior of others, we can control our own actions and responses. When faced with someone who is self-centered, the Stoic approach is to maintain your own standards of conduct, showing patience and understanding where possible. However, this doesn't mean allowing yourself to be a doormat. On the contrary, it's about recognizing the limitations of the other person, while also setting clear boundaries to protect your own well-being. Let's consider a modern-day example. Imagine you have a colleague who constantly dominates conversations, rarely listening to others, and is always focused on how situations affect them personally. Every discussion seems to revolve around their needs and desires, leaving little room for anyone else to contribute. It's easy to feel frustrated in such situations, especially when you sense that your thoughts and feelings are being disregarded. But rather than reacting with anger or withdrawing in frustration, what if you approach the situation with the calm and deliberate mindset of a Stoic? You might choose to listen carefully, responding with patience, yet also gently steering the conversation to include others or addressing the imbalance directly when appropriate. This approach is not about passively accepting the behavior, but rather about responding in a way that aligns with your values. By maintaining your composure and not allowing their lack of empathy to dictate your actions, you preserve your own peace of mind. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, taught that it is not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. This is particularly relevant when dealing with empathy-lacking individuals. Their behavior is their own responsibility. Your responsibility is to manage how you respond to it, ensuring that you do not let their self-centeredness disturb your inner tranquility. One effective strategy when dealing with such individuals is to practice detached concern, showing empathy without becoming emotionally entangled. This means recognizing that their lack of empathy often stems from their own insecurities or unresolved issues. By understanding this, you can engage with them without taking their behavior personally. Instead of feeling slighted or frustrated, you might view their actions with a sense of compassion, acknowledging that they may not have the capacity for deeper connection or understanding. However, this detached concern should be balanced with firm boundaries. Seneca wisely said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This doesn't mean you should cut off everyone who doesn't meet your standards of empathy, but it does mean that you should protect yourself from being overly influenced or drained by their behavior. For instance, you might find that after a particularly one-sided interaction, you feel emotionally exhausted or even resentful. This is a clear sign that a boundary has been crossed. Setting boundaries might involve limiting your time with this person, steering conversations away from emotionally charged topics, or simply being clear about your needs and expectations in the relationship. By doing so, you are not only protecting your own well-being, but also communicating to the other person that their behavior is not acceptable. This is a crucial aspect of the Stoic approach, balancing empathy and understanding with self-respect and assertiveness. Another important aspect to consider is self-reflection. How do you typically respond to people who lack empathy? Do you find yourself getting frustrated, trying to change them, or withdrawing completely? Stoicism encourages us to examine our own reactions and consider whether they are serving us well. Are we reacting out of habit, or are we responding in a way that reflects our true values and desires? By taking the time to reflect, you can begin to change your approach, choosing responses that are more aligned with your long-term well-being. In your personal life, you may encounter empathy-lacking individuals among friends, family, or even romantic partners. These relationships can be particularly taxing because they often involve deeper emotional ties. In such cases, it's essential to communicate your feelings and needs clearly, while also recognizing that change may be slow or even unlikely. The Stoic approach here would be to accept the person as they are, while also deciding what role they should play in your life. Are they someone you need to distance yourself from, or can you maintain the relationship by adjusting your expectations and setting boundaries? These are difficult questions, but they are necessary for preserving your own mental and emotional health. As you navigate these interactions, remember the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control. You can't control another person's capacity for empathy, but you can control how much you allow their behavior to affect you. By practicing patience, setting boundaries, and engaging in self-reflection, you can protect your well-being while still interacting with empathy-lacking individuals in a way that is consistent with your values. Ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that maintains my integrity while also respecting my own needs? By doing so, you'll find that you can engage with these individuals without losing yourself in the process. Dealing with people who lack empathy requires a careful balance of patience, understanding, and self-protection. Stoicism teaches us to maintain our own standards of conduct, to respond with detached concern, and to set clear boundaries when necessary. By applying these principles, you can navigate these challenging relationships without sacrificing your own well-being or peace of mind. Remember, the key is not to change the other person, but to manage your own responses in a way that reflects your true values. In doing so, you'll find that you can interact with empathy-lacking individuals while still preserving your inner peace and integrity. 6. Managing irritating people. Sometimes you're bound to encounter people who seem to take pleasure in pushing your buttons, testing your patience, and trying to throw you off balance. These irritating individuals are everywhere, at work, in social circles, and even within families. But how do you handle them without losing your cool? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." To continue, we'll explore how Stoicism can arm you with the tools to maintain your composure and inner peace in the face of those who seek to unsettle you. Every day, we cross paths with people whose behavior can be downright irritating. Whether it's the coworker who makes snide remarks, the family member who knows just how to get under your skin, or even a stranger on the street who tests your patience, these interactions can quickly become a source of stress and frustration. But here's where the wisdom of Stoicism comes into play. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control the actions of others, we have complete control over our reactions to them. This means that the power to maintain your inner peace regardless of external irritations lies entirely within you. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest figures, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote encapsulates the essence of dealing with irritating people. The key is not in changing them, but in mastering your own responses. When someone deliberately tries to unsettle you, their goal is often to provoke a reaction, to see if they can control your emotions. Recognizing this is the first step toward disarming their attempts. Once you understand that their behavior is a reflection of their own issues, perhaps insecurity, frustration, or a need for validation, you can begin to see their actions in a different light. Instead of viewing their behavior as a personal attack, you can choose to see it as noise, something external that does not have to penetrate your inner calm. This perspective shift is powerful because it places you in control. No longer are you at the mercy of someone else's bad behavior. Instead, you become the master of your own emotional state. A practical example can illustrate this concept. Let's say you have a colleague who constantly interrupts you during meetings, seemingly trying to undermine your points. It's easy to feel anger or frustration in such moments, especially if it happens repeatedly. But what if, instead of reacting with annoyance, you took a deep breath and reminded yourself of the Stoic principle that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters? By doing so, you detach from the immediate emotional response and can handle the situation with a calm, composed demeanor. You might choose to address the behavior directly in a respectful manner, or simply let it pass without letting it disturb your peace. Either way, you maintain control over how you feel and respond. The ability to control your reactions is like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Over time, you'll find that you're less affected by the behavior of irritating people. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, wisely advised, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." This quote can be applied to our emotional responses as well. If you don't know how you want to respond to life's irritations, calmly and with composure, then you'll be easily blown off course by every slight breeze of annoyance that comes your way. But by setting a clear intention to remain calm and centered, you can navigate through these challenges with grace. In modern life, where stress levels are often high and patience can wear thin, the ability to manage your reactions to irritating people is more valuable than ever. Whether you're dealing with a rude driver on your morning commute or a difficult customer at work, the principles of Stoicism offer a practical guide to maintaining your peace of mind. Instead of letting these irritations build up and affect your mood, you can choose to see them as opportunities to practice resilience. Every time you successfully manage your reaction, you reinforce your ability to remain steady and unshaken, no matter what life throws at you. Moreover, it's important to recognize that sometimes the most irritating people can also be our greatest teachers. They offer us a chance to test our Stoic principles in real-world situations. If you can maintain your composure with someone who deliberately tries to unsettle you, imagine how much easier it will be to handle life's other challenges. This is where the Stoic idea of turning obstacles into opportunities truly shines. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. Each irritation is a chance to grow stronger, to become more resilient, and to cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace. So, how can you apply this in your daily life? Start by being mindful of your reactions. The next time someone irritates you, pause before reacting. Take a moment to breathe and remind yourself that you have the power to choose your response. Consider what outcome you desire. Do you want to escalate the situation, or would you prefer to diffuse it? By consciously choosing your response, you're exercising the Stoic principle of controlling what you can, your own mind and actions. Dealing with irritating people is an inevitable part of life, but how you handle these situations can make all the difference. By adopting a Stoic approach, you can maintain your inner peace and composure, even when others try to provoke you. Remember that your power lies in your ability to control your reactions, not in trying to change the behavior of others. As you continue to practice this mindset, you'll find that the actions of others have less and less impact on your emotional state. And in doing so, you'll embody the true strength of Stoicism, living with tranquility and resilience, no matter what challenges you face. So, the next time someone tries to unsettle you, ask yourself, will I let them control my emotions? Or will I choose to remain calm and in control? The choice is yours, and with practice you'll find that inner peace becomes your natural response to even the most irritating people. Thank you for being here and watching this video. I'm curious, have you encountered any of these types of people in your life, and how did you handle the situation? Your experiences could offer valuable insights to others in our community. If you're not sure what to comment, feel free to simply write, "I've learned a lot today," to let us know you've been engaged. Your input truly matters and helps us all grow together. 7. Coping with eternal victims. Dealing with individuals who perpetually cast themselves as the victim in every situation can be one of the most draining and challenging aspects of human interaction. These eternal victims often pull you into their narrative, where everything and everyone is against them, leaving you feeling exhausted and emotionally spent. You might find yourself repeatedly offering advice, support, or a listening ear, only to realize that nothing you say or do seems to change their perspective or improve their situation. It's like trying to fill a bottomless pit. No matter how much effort you put in, it's never enough. But how do you manage these interactions without losing your own sense of peace and balance? Stoicism offers valuable insights into this dilemma, teaching us how to offer support without becoming ensnared in someone else's perpetual victimhood, while also recognizing the importance of setting boundaries to protect our own well-being. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This wisdom is especially relevant when dealing with those who constantly see themselves as victims. These individuals often believe that their problems are entirely caused by external factors, refusing to take responsibility for their own actions or mindset. As a result, they may drag you into their endless cycle of complaints and negativity, expecting you to solve their problems or at least to sympathize with their plight. But the truth is, no amount of external help can change their situation if they are not willing to change their perspective. This is where Stoicism comes into play, reminding us that while we can offer support, we must also recognize our limits and protect our own emotional energy. Consider a situation from modern life. Perhaps you have a friend or family member who constantly complains about their job, their relationships, or their life in general. No matter how much advice or encouragement you offer, they always find a way to return to the same negative narrative. It's as if they are stuck in a loop, unable or unwilling to see beyond their perceived misfortunes. You might start to feel guilty for not being able to help them more, or frustrated that they don't seem to listen to your advice. But here's where the Stoic principle of setting boundaries becomes essential. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that while you can choose to be compassionate and supportive, you also have the right and the responsibility to protect your own mental and emotional well-being by setting clear boundaries. One way to set these boundaries is by being honest and direct about what you can and cannot do. For example, if a friend is constantly venting to you about their problems but never takes any steps to improve their situation, it might be time to gently but firmly remind them that you are there to support them, but you cannot solve their problems for them. You might say something like, "I care about you and want to help, but I'm noticing that our conversations often focus on the same issues without any resolution. How can we work together to find a way forward?" This approach not only sets a boundary, but also encourages the person to take responsibility for their own actions and choices. Another important aspect of coping with eternal victims is recognizing when to step back. It's crucial to understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you find that your interactions with a perpetual victim are leaving you feeling drained, stressed, or even resentful, it's a sign that you need to take a step back and recharge your own emotional energy. This might mean limiting the amount of time you spend with that person, redirecting conversations to more positive or constructive topics, or even taking a temporary break from the relationship if necessary. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, advised, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This doesn't mean abandoning someone in need, but rather prioritizing relationships that are mutually supportive and uplifting. It's also important to reflect on your own role in these interactions. Are you enabling the person's victim mentality by always being available to listen to their complaints without challenging them to take action? Stoicism teaches us the value of tough love, offering support that encourages growth and self-improvement rather than simply reinforcing negative patterns. By gently challenging the person to take responsibility for their own life, you can help them begin to shift their perspective from that of a victim to that of someone who has the power to change their circumstances. At the same time, it's essential to acknowledge that not everyone is ready or willing to make that change. Some people are deeply entrenched in their victim mentality, and no amount of encouragement or advice will change that. In these cases, it's important to accept that you have done what you can and that the rest is out of your control. This acceptance is a core tenet of Stoicism, focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. By doing so, you free yourself from the emotional burden of trying to fix someone else's life, allowing you to focus on your own well-being and personal growth. Dealing with eternal victims is a challenge that requires a balance of compassion, honesty, and self-care. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for managing these interactions by recognizing the limits of what you can do, setting clear boundaries, and focusing on your own responses rather than trying to change the other person. As you navigate these relationships, remember that you have the right to protect your own peace of mind while still offering support in a way that encourages positive change. Ask yourself, am I helping this person in a way that promotes growth, or am I simply enabling their victim mentality? By answering this question honestly, you can ensure that your interactions are constructive and that you maintain your own emotional well-being in the process. Ultimately, the goal is to engage with empathy while also preserving your own inner peace, a balance that is at the heart of Stoic wisdom. 8. Dealing with two-faced individuals. Whether in friendships, family bonds, or professional partnerships, trust is what allows us to connect deeply with others and to feel secure in our interactions. But what happens when you encounter someone who wears a mask, presenting one face to you while showing another behind your back? These two-faced individuals are the very embodiment of deceit, undermining the trust that holds relationships together. They may appear friendly and supportive when you're around, but their actions reveal a different story, one where they undermine, betray, or speak ill of you when you're not present. How do you handle such people? Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers a clear path. Distance yourself from deceitful individuals and instead, cultivate relationships with those who are authentic, transparent, and worthy of your trust. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the importance of aligning yourself with truth and integrity. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely stated, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This advice is particularly relevant when dealing with two-faced individuals. Their lack of integrity can infect your life with unnecessary drama, stress, and betrayal. If you surround yourself with people who are dishonest, you risk becoming entangled in their web of deceit, which can erode your own sense of peace and stability. The Stoic approach encourages you to protect your well-being by choosing to invest in relationships that are grounded in honesty and mutual respect. Ask yourself, how much peace of mind do you sacrifice by keeping deceitful individuals in your life? Is it worth the emotional toll? In today's fast-paced and often superficial world, it can be challenging to identify two-faced individuals, especially when they are skilled at hiding their true intentions. They may flatter you, act like your best friend, or even go out of their way to help you, only to turn around and speak negatively about you to others, or worse, undermine your efforts behind the scenes. This behavior can be incredibly hurtful, leaving you feeling betrayed and questioning your own judgment. However, Stoicism teaches us to approach these situations with both wisdom and composure. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Instead of retaliating or getting caught up in the negativity, the Stoic approach is to remain true to your values and to distance yourself from those who do not share them. Consider a situation many of us have faced in the workplace. Imagine you have a colleague who seems supportive and friendly, but you start to notice that they take credit for your ideas or subtly criticize you in front of others to elevate themselves. At first, you might give them the benefit of the doubt, thinking that perhaps you misunderstood their intentions. But over time, it becomes clear that their behavior is not a one-time mistake but a pattern. In such a scenario, the Stoic approach would be to calmly assess the situation, recognizing the deceit for what it is. You might choose to have a direct conversation with this person, addressing your concerns, or you might decide that it's better to limit your interactions with them. By distancing yourself from their influence, you protect your own integrity and focus on building relationships with colleagues who are genuine and supportive. The key to dealing with two-faced individuals lies in your ability to discern their true nature without letting their actions disrupt your inner peace. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control how we respond to them. This means that when you encounter deceit, instead of reacting with anger or resentment, you can choose to respond with wisdom and self-control. Set clear boundaries and do not allow yourself to be drawn into their games. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This quote underscores the importance of maintaining your composure and integrity, regardless of the behavior of others. But how do you cultivate relationships with authentic and transparent individuals? It begins with self-reflection and understanding your own values. What qualities do you value most in a relationship? Honesty, loyalty, respect? By identifying what matters most to you, you can seek out and nurture relationships that align with these values. When you find people who are genuine and trustworthy, invest in those relationships and let them know how much you appreciate their authenticity. Surrounding yourself with people who share your values not only enriches your life, but also reinforces your own commitment to living with integrity. In the broader context of life, the lesson here is clear. You are the company you keep. If you surround yourself with people who are deceitful, their negative influence will inevitably seep into your life. On the other hand, if you choose to associate with individuals who are honest and transparent, you create an environment of trust and mutual respect that benefits everyone involved. The relationships you cultivate should uplift you, not drag you down into a cycle of mistrust and deceit. Think about the relationships in your life. Consider this open-ended question. Are the people you trust truly worthy of that trust? It's a question that requires honest introspection, but it's essential for maintaining the quality of your relationships. By applying the principles of Stoicism, you can ensure that you are surrounding yourself with people who reflect the same values that you strive to embody in your own life. And in doing so, you protect your peace of mind and create a solid foundation for meaningful and fulfilling relationships. Dealing with two-faced individuals is a challenge that requires wisdom, discernment, and a commitment to your own values. Stoicism provides a clear guide. Distance yourself from deceitful people and focus on building relationships with those who are genuine and trustworthy. By doing so, you safeguard your emotional well-being and create a network of connections that are based on mutual respect and integrity. Remember, the quality of your life is deeply influenced by the quality of your relationships, so choose wisely. As you move forward, keep in mind the words of Seneca. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. This is not just advice for avoiding deceit. It's a blueprint for living a life grounded in truth and authenticity. 9. Handling toxic people. There are few challenges more draining than dealing with toxic people, those who seem to thrive on manipulation, dishonesty, and negativity. They can sap your energy, disrupt your peace, and leave you questioning your own judgment. But how do you navigate these treacherous waters without losing yourself in the process? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." For the last lesson of today, we'll explore how Stoicism offers practical wisdom to protect your peace and maintain your integrity when facing toxic individuals. Toxic people can manifest in many forms. Manipulators who twist situations to their advantage, liars who distort the truth for their gain, and negative individuals who drain the life out of every room they enter. These traits, when combined, create a person who is not just difficult, but potentially harmful to your mental and emotional well-being. Yet it's important to remember that while you can't always avoid these individuals, you can absolutely control how you respond to them. Stoicism, with its focus on internal control and resilience, teaches us that the power lies within us to protect our peace by setting firm boundaries and consciously choosing how we react. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reminds us, The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. This means that the people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your state of mind and overall well-being, making it crucial to manage your interactions with toxic individuals carefully. One of the first steps in handling toxic people is recognizing them for what they are. Often these individuals are skilled at hiding their true nature, presenting themselves as charming or even caring when it suits their purposes. However, over time, patterns of manipulation, dishonesty, and negativity emerge, revealing their true character. It's easy to feel trapped or obligated to maintain these relationships, especially if the toxic person is a colleague, friend, or even a family member. But Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-preservation and the need to protect our inner tranquility. As Seneca wisely advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This doesn't mean abandoning those in need or cutting off every challenging relationship, but it does mean being selective about who you allow into your inner circle. Once you've identified a toxic person in your life, the next step is to set firm boundaries. Boundaries are not just about limiting the time you spend with someone, but also about clearly defining what behavior you will and will not tolerate. This can be as simple as refusing to engage in gossip, or as significant as limiting your interactions with someone who constantly lies or manipulates. By setting these boundaries, you are sending a clear message that you value your peace of mind and will not allow anyone to compromise it. But boundaries are only effective if they are consistently enforced. This requires a strong sense of self-awareness and the courage to stand by your decisions, even when it's uncomfortable. Stoicism teaches us that discomfort is often a necessary part of growth. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By mastering your own reactions and maintaining your boundaries, you reclaim your power from those who seek to undermine it. In addition to setting boundaries, it's crucial to focus on your own reactions. Toxic people often thrive on drama and conflict, and their actions are designed to provoke a response. Whether it's a manipulative comment, a dishonest action, or a barrage of negativity, their goal is to draw you into their chaotic world. But Stoicism offers a different path, one of calm, measured responses that prioritize your well-being over their provocation. When you encounter a toxic person's behavior, take a moment to breathe and remind yourself that you control your reactions, not them. A story that illustrates this point involves a man who worked in a high-stress corporate environment, surrounded by colleagues who thrived on manipulation and dishonesty. Every day felt like a battle, as he was constantly dealing with backstabbing, office politics, and negativity. He found himself becoming increasingly anxious and frustrated, feeling as though he was losing himself in the process. However, after discovering Stoicism, he began to apply its principles in his daily life. He set firm boundaries by limiting his interactions with toxic colleagues and refusing to engage in office gossip. More importantly, he shifted his focus from reacting to every slight or provocation to maintaining his inner peace. He reminded himself daily that while he couldn't change the toxic environment, he could change how he responded to it. Over time, he found that not only did his stress levels decrease, but he also became more resilient and confident in his ability to handle whatever challenges came his way. Another critical aspect of dealing with toxic people is surrounding yourself with positive influences. Just as negative people can drain your energy, positive and supportive individuals can uplift and energize you. It's essential to cultivate relationships with people who share your values, who respect your boundaries, and who contribute positively to your life. This doesn't mean you should avoid all difficult or challenging people. After all, growth often comes from overcoming challenges, but it does mean being intentional about who you spend your time with. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. Surrounding yourself with positive influences allows you to focus on the present and enjoy life, rather than being consumed by the negativity of toxic individuals. Handling toxic people requires a combination of self-awareness, boundary setting, and a focus on your own reactions. By applying Stoic principles, you can protect your peace and maintain your integrity, even in the face of manipulation, dishonesty, and negativity. Remember that you have the power to choose how you respond to others, and that by setting firm boundaries, you protect your well-being. Surround yourself with positive influences and be mindful of the impact that others have on your state of mind. As you move forward, ask yourself, are the people in my life uplifting me, or are they dragging me down? By answering this question honestly, you can take the necessary steps to create a life that is grounded in peace, positivity, and resilience. A life that reflects the true essence of Stoic wisdom. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth here at A Stoic in Your Life. I hope the insights shared today help you navigate your relationships with greater wisdom and clarity. If you found this content valuable, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, sharing it with others who might benefit, and subscribing to the channel. Make sure to turn on notifications so you won't miss out on our future videos, where we continue to delve deep into Stoic philosophy and its application in modern life. Your support means the world to us as we build a community centered on wisdom, resilience, and purposeful living. Stay strong, stay true to your principles, and remember, the quality of your life is deeply influenced by the company you keep. Until next time, keep striving for a life of peace, wisdom, and Stoic calm.